Hey guys, this is 10x Dragon. I just did the video on how someone should apply to join a guild that they want to be a part of. Now, this time I want to take a step back and talk to the R4s and the R5s. Oftentimes, you're starting your guild and you want to attract members. And I found there are ways to do it to fill. Like, for example, you can see I've got 97 out of 100 people. I probably have like 10, 20 people asking to join every day. We have a sub guild that's almost pretty much full, and we have to create a third guild for the alts and the hypers as well. And then, believe it or not, I actually have another guild shell, Blackwing Death, BWD, as well. And that's probably got about like 20 or 30 Mina players just sitting in that as well. I just haven't been that active in it myself, but that's still my shell. I still have leadership over it. So it's very interesting. Like, so how do you attract members who are a good fit, who are loyal to you, and will actually follow you kingdom to kingdom, guild to guild, or however you do this? And it's a really interesting concept. And one is that you have to be very empathetic. You have to let your team know that you care. You have to be very clear about the rules. And I talked a little bit about this from the other side. It's like, hey, make sure you follow the rules. But as an R5 and R4 leadership, you have to define the rules very clearly for your guild and be honest with people too, so they know that they're a good fit. And also not be ego driven, right? Like, I'm 10x Dragon. I've got this many kills. I've got 2 accounts that are pretty strong. And that kind of thing. It's very chodish. When you have a little bit of humility and you help other people and you help them grow. Like when I talked about the how to join a guild, like it's not about what I need. Like, I want you guys. If you guys let me join, I'm going to gotta grow and get T4 so much faster. Please let me join and get your guild gifts. And how does that make you feel? You're like, get out of here. Like, you're not right. But at the same time, it's like, what can you do for your members, right? As well. So, and that's one. You're being a leader. You make sure your account is being strong. Make sure you're following your own rules, and then clearly define those rules, right? Whatever they are, and be the example for your guild. Like for me, I'm competitive by nature, but if I go through and you click on Kingdom 1000 and you go to ranking, right? My boy Harry here, who's also a member of that, the LHO family kind of thing. Like him and I are, but I'm not number 1, but also that's kind of by design. I'm staying around that 1 billion level. So, okay, I'm a powerful player. I've always been. I've always had great gear, even, when this was a very active kingdom. I'm number 1 in troop kills, right, with 412 million. And it's a big domination over the next person. The next person has 288 million, who is also someone I've been mentoring as a team member. Harry has 237 million. And then all these other people, even guess who's actually my guy? He's on vacation right now. So we needed the space, so we dropped him, which is, if you're inactive 2 days, you get dropped, even if you're an R4. And then you can always come back and apply. So he's definitely welcome. And actually, it's funny, even in his case, I'll just show you guys real quick, because we have so many new members coming in and out here. But I was like, don't attack our mate. So I pinned it, to make sure he gets protected in case his shield ever goes down. But guess what? Even though he's not active in the game, he's still having that discipline to protect his castle and protect his investment. Because this game is an investment. It's a money investment for some, but it's a time investment for all of us. So protect that investment. Do the basic discipline items of, like, if you need to shield. Make sure if you're offline in most kingdoms, then, like right now I'm in a hyper mode actually, I think. Oh no, I'm not. I am in my mix. So there you go. I'm just so conditioned that when I go offline, I go into my, gear, and your formation and your talents even. But actually, for now, I'm okay with going into hyper. I'm putting in about 120 mil plus of food per day for the guild, chest. Always preparing for that rainy day there. But you want to show that you're good at something. Now, it doesn't have to be the top of everything, right? Like I'm #1 in Coliseum, pretty typically, and that aspect of it. But even when this was a very huge active kingdom, I always had one thing that I would excel at or be good at. So when you're strong, and you don't have to be the strongest, but when you're strong, people are attracted to you. And when you're strong and you show humility and you're helpful, that also matters. So how do you be helpful? Well, that's what Kingdom Chat's for. And I'm actually gonna unhide the chat here and go over to the kingdom here. So right now, you're probably gonna see everyone doing their emoji, like daily tasks, right? But when people interact or ask a question, I will answer it normally if I see it. And I don't spend much time on here, actually. Or those hero stages, when you get those hero challenges, I will go ahead and post what I used in there and try to be helpful. Even to my enemies, or I don't really have enemies, but like even to people who I might have zero or killed or have in my prison, right? They might say, well, can you release me? And I was like, if I release you, if I can execute you faster, but I'm gonna get that altar bonus as my award, right? I don't need resources, I don't need gold. And by the way, IGG, if you're watching this, you should have a better ransom system. So when someone is a prisoner, that they can actually ask for the person who has them, they can actually get resources instead of just gold, right? Open it up for all the other ones. And then that's going to be a much more dynamic and fun opportunity there. Or even, being able to say like, hey, well, I want gems or something like that. If you allow them to pay in resources, or that someone has gems and it would just transfer over, that would just take that whole prison ransom system to a whole another level. And you could make sure that people aren't being, scammed and those sort of things as well. So I would highly recommend that. That would make the game so much more fun as well. So add value, be strong, add value, share your knowledge, and let people get to know you, right? Because no one's gonna follow someone they don't know. So, I've got a bit of a sense of humor. So in chat, I'll say funny things or, that kind of thing as well initially. Or, when I'm communicating with other people in other guilds there. But what I will not do is I will not get on to here and I will not spam it. I will not say something like, hey guys, join my new guild of, I don't know, like 100 million might and hunt monsters. We will grow together and have fun. Right? Like, why do people do that? And then we have some people who keep spamming it again and again. Don't do that. You end up looking like a chode and looking so bad. No one will want to be a part of your organization. The other thing is don't go and spam and recruit off of other people's Diplo board. That's even worse. I mean, that just shows you're a loser. So whenever I see people doing that, that's just lame. Even sliding into people's DMs is kind of lame, but not as much, right? Like, I'd rather do what I'm doing and have people be attracted to that and want to be a part of that as well, right? And you can find those people. A lot of times, when I'm in Kingdom versus Kingdom, that is a great opportunity to do that. There was one where we were mismatched, and we got crushed, really, the whole kingdom. And this was back before, like, it was dead, and you had, 800 million of my players who were shielding because they came in with 2 guilds, whatever, 3 guilds, and they would actually, zero a bunch of 500-600 might players. And they did it real fast, right? That's how you're supposed to do it. So by the end, I was literally the only one, really fighting them and hitting them in there, trying to knock them out of base solo and doing all these things. And I had 4 of the top guilds of the other kingdom try to recruit me afterwards. So you make a name for yourself with that brand. And what they didn't know was I was like on fumes with my troops. I had like 40K like inf T1 and maybe like 60 of another and 100 of another, and like probably less than 2 million T2 each. So they could have really they could have probably rallied me and got me, especially because at one point I lost my lead. But because of the image I portrayed and the psychological part of that game that I was playing, they wouldn't even try to attempt to rally. And that's another part of the game as well, right? So that is important, like that brand, building it up, providing value, helping others, having clear rules, and then, attracting people to you instead. And that's always been that philosophy. Because, when people know that you care and you're helpful, then, they stay with you and they're loyal. I had people following me from guild to guild. I've been playing the game a year and a half only, but I have members that go through, and if I need something, they'll come in and they'll drop it. And we still communicate, even though we're not in the same guilds anymore, because I went off and kind of started doing my own thing. We still communicate. And we still have those, line, chat, and Discord as well, where we keep that communication. And sometimes we'll go there, sometimes join them and help, or if they're going to do like Emp or Baron and they're a strong lead and they need my help to push, I might help them as well. Prior to joining the guild I'm in now, because we kind of push internally. But that's that aspect, right? And then also, if one of my friends is getting rallied, I'm not going to join that rally. But I'm also not going to sabotage it, right? That's a part of that fine line sometimes when you get to know a lot of people in the game, and that aspect of it. But really, it's just play the game that you want to play. Don't tolerate drama in the guild. So whenever there's a problem, you got to deal with it quickly and fairly, and just you have to kick people, and when they don't act. Like right now, we had a minimum for guildfest of 1,200. It's always been our minimum, but 1,500 is what it's supposed to be, and we're really trying to get into that master level here. And so here, like, we've completed our entire, for our level, we've completed it. And you go through, and if you look through, of course, again, lead by example, right? I hate Guildfest. Like, I have to tell you, I hate Guildfest, like, completely. It doesn't even give you much value, except now that they've actually started putting the artifact. What do they call it for the artifacts, actually? So see here, we're 5 and we are 4 and 3. We've been fighting that. You have to get to 3 to go to the next level. But, the guys kind of slipped off a little. And a small amount of them, actually. And that's what's kind of annoying. But let's click here. So here you have the artifact coins. That's what I was trying to say, right? So now this has made it interesting. Because now everyone can actually use those as well. Gems, okay, yeah, gems. But a lot of it at a certain point does not become that helpful. But that actually does make it more interesting again for pretty much everybody. But hey, we have all the gifts, but now we want to go to that next level. So if you look here and our thing, I said the minimum. I said the target was 1,500, and if you look at it, we have about 97 people in the guild right now. We had a few new people join in, but we had 53 of them actually hit that, and it still might go up. We still have a little bit of time. And a lot of people got close, 1,400s. And then 1,200 is really the real minimum because that ensures we stay in here. So we had 82 members out of probably like 95 who could actually do Guildfest, or even 90 actually do it and get there. So, but then if you look here, well, all right. So they did 9 out of 10. That's the other thing I look forward to, right? Like if someone then did they buy the extra attempt? Because that means everyone will mess up, right? Like one time, like I messed up on one of the alts because I did it in 4 different accounts. I've got Guildfest fatigue, like I don't know what. So it's okay, it happens, right? Real life happens. People have exams. We have members who are in Ukraine, as I mentioned in the other video, and that's a crazy situation. But even them, I think they got their points. Or they went to the other guild, either one, right? Because they know if they can't. Oh yeah, they did. So right. So this person's in Ukraine, and they're in war right now, and they still were able to get near the target range, and they bought the extra attempt with the 1,000 gems that they get in the guild gifts. So there are no real excuses, right? Like I mean, I'm so busy myself, right? So then sometimes you see 0 out of 0. That's because people join the guild during guildfest. I mean, that happens, so they kind of get a buy. But like, I don't know, this guy, he has not done many guildfests. I think this time it's done. This is a new person, I think. I think these people are out of guild during registration time. That's also an issue to address. But then, like, the people who've got a few, like 4, 5, 8, 9, they're in this range, they're not going to be around. They're not a good fit, in that case. Because there's nothing wrong with playing this game casually, but that's just not what our guild is about. So it's not personal, but it's just like, this is the way we play the game. So if you want to play with us, you have to follow the rules like everybody else, because it's not fair for all the other people who are killing it. And how many times we were running DNs? Like, I'm not like doing that like DN19 thing all the time, right? But we have members are, and they're so helpful. Like Not Leo and Pick and Sin in our guild, they were doing so many DNs. Like I think they did like 20 or 30 19 plus in one of the days alone combined, and that's taking up so much of their time because they want to help the guild and us to grow that level. And then when you see people kind of like, well, whatever, right? Oh, I'm so busy, like everybody's busy, right? So this is our guild, this is our rule. So when you get at least kicked out, don't complain when you are not allowed to collect all those rewards because you didn't do it. So that's the minimum thing that I'm going to do is like right before that, I'm going to go through and I'm going to kick everybody out who did not get near that score. 1,200, under 1,200, they're out until the collection part is over, right? And by the end of the week. And a lot of people are going to complain about it. They're going to say, well, can I pay a penalty? Can I do this? But no, like you get the points or goodbye. Sorry, not sorry, right? Everyone has like been working really hard and you haven't been. Like even someone who is in a war-torn country did it. What is your excuse? We've got people in school, we've got people with businesses, we've got people doing double shifts and working and the kids and all the different scenarios. So don't make excuses, right? Just do it. So have that. But then you're R4, R5, you have discretion, certain circumstances, right? Like a few weeks ago, like last Guildfest, those guys in Ukraine couldn't at all, right? It was too uncertain. So of course we had sympathy and empathy, right? That's the key part. But you can't let people walk over you or mess up your reputation as well in the guild. Because in a sense, when you're R5 and it's your guild, what their actions are also a representation of you. So when you say, hey, there's no tile hitting or monster stealing, and you have a couple members come in and start doing it, they're going to be like, oh man, 10X can't control his guild, right? It's like, take care of your own house first. It's just basic, right? So you have that responsibility for the guild, and so you have the responsibility to police that and let people know and communicate, give them a couple of chances. People say, oh, I didn't know. And well, I mean, honestly, for me, I'm like, you should have read it. That's a lame excuse. But I still will give people a couple of chances and get them to realize and know me that I don't mess around with that. And a lot of times they get in line, and some of the most pain in the booty type players, they still respect me and, communicate with me even after the fact that they're no longer in the guild and they knew they caused trouble because of that relationship and because I was helpful and I helped bring value to them. And then they know that I value them as a person. It just wasn't a right fit in our guild. So when you're attracting people, of course, let's get back and be concise here. Set out your rules, right? So for me, no drama, and I reiterate that inside. So this is the internal communication, right? So let's actually go to the other communication first. When people first see you, what do they see, right? So welcome to Mythic Dynasty. One of the other members did all the other dollar sign stuff, but you let them know, well, hey, these are the family guilds, and we're part of the LHO kind of family aspect of it. Recruitment, what we're looking for. You have to have Discord, the communication channel, guildfest points, what are required, monster kills that are required. We are a war guild. We expect you to fill DN and war rallies. We expect you to be active. If you're inactive for 2+ days, you can expect to be kicked. You can always just reapply when you come back. But if you're not shielded, you're done anyway, because people will hit you. And again, Discord is required for all members. And then also I make it easy, right? I had a vanity, URL and with a link, so it redirects it. So it's easy for people to remember. Hey, you want to join? Go to 10xdragon.com/Discord. Or if you want to watch the YouTube channel, 10xdragon.com/YouTube. And one of the things I'm doing now that I've got the stream kind of set up is I'm going to actually have a couple of videos. Like, hey, welcome to the guild. This is 10x Dragon. You can see I'm a real person. And these are things that will help you and understand what we expect, and also help you succeed and grow at the same time, right? So I'll walk them through, like, hey, this is what we do in this situation. These are the important rules you need to know, and we don't tolerate this, so don't do it. And everyone that has clear expectations on what they need to do to be in here, and the level of respect you need to have each other too, right? The other thing is that, I have a lot of female guild members in most of my guilds. And that's also because I don't let other players harass them. And if there's ever a complaint or something news, I will take care of it for them. I will protect them in that sense, because this game is fun for everybody. And so if somebody is complaining that, hey, they're being harassed by this guy, they keep sending them messages and, this sort of thing, I will squash that. I will not let them near that person, even in game, right? But that's just, on that aspect of it. And, in LHO, all the female players are the strongest anyway. So they protect me in that case, especially from Punisher. So, yeah, it's really important then. So you have everything out. You have a communication tool that has all the rules, so you don't have to keep repeating yourself again and again. And I'll do another video on how I set up Discord and how I handle all the international players in translation, because I actually have to, they can easily translate the messages. There's no drama. Protect your troops and lead. If you can't protect your troops and lead, you don't belong here. I'm sorry. And then for any diplomacy, recruitment, talk to, my number 2, Blue Joker, and, he'll talk to you, and then if he needs me, he can, get in touch with me. And a little bit of marketing here, like, right? Dragon's YouTube full of tips, tricks, and live streams, and then make it easy for people to find me on YouTube, right? TanksDragon.com/YouTube. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe. I keep adding more content as we grow, and I'll do live streams so you guys can see me play instead of talking. But I wanted to give some of those insights because I see it time and time again. People going to other diplos, trying to recruit people that are, and just doing it the wrong way. So if you want to build a guild, it's almost like building a business. Like, you have to have the culture of the guild, right? Have a cool name, have a cool logo, have a cool philosophy. Like I have a very, really simple mantra that we follow. It's right here. One crew or no crew. So you're either in the guild or you're out. And if you're out, you're a fair target. That's it. Just one crew or no crew. And I basically make Kingdom 1000 for the most part my crew, right? So it's funny because people would say, hey, can we join? Otherwise, it's almost like a Borg from Star Trek, right? Like, you will assimilate. So I've always had that thing where I always try to bring everybody together. So sometimes I ally myself out, or merge myself into not having enough enemies. But it's fun. So that's the main thing, right? And then follow the expectations, follow your rules, and enforce them. And don't show favoritism, right? Don't let people come in and mess up that culture. I've seen so many times, especially when you start merging guilds, it always ends up in disaster because that communication is not there ahead of time. And then also have transparency with your team members. That's really important because of all you say, oh, hey, we're migrating here, come over, and they don't have any input or say, like, or notice, or they don't know what's going on, and all of a sudden you've merged with another guild, and then there's more R4s, and they don't know that dynamic, and those people don't know your members, and it creates that mess and tension. So anytime you do anything, have clear communication, have clear expectations, and then have transparency with the rest of the guild, right? So like in Kingdom 1000, one thing I'm thinking about is like, well, should we migrate to another kingdom or go raiding or something? The only thing is to come back will be really expensive. Obviously, number 2 on the might range and number 1. But it was something I was thinking about. Like, should I do that? Or should we do it or not? Like, go to a more active kingdom, or should we just continue to grow and then, make our move a little bit later? Because there's an advantage of us being in here, right? There's a lot of added value that we have and bring by controlling this kingdom. So, that's something I would talk about with my R4 first and our leadership. So you should have also a leadership channel with just the R4s. And then, of course, you have your main guild chat and then things outside of the game, like online or Discord. And then you communicate and you have those rules set up so it's clear. And then even for guildfest, I have to tell you, like, I put maybe 3-4 messages in the chat. I have sent out mail reminders, right? And other members are sending out mail reminders. And then I post on Discord and I post online, like, hey, this is a final reminder. If you're not over 1,200 points by the time the reset is there, don't expect to collect the gifts and don't expect to be in the guild until after, collection is over. And then that's it. So there's no excuse for people not to. But then there are a few people that I know who are close, but then just haven't finished. They might have got busy. And it's also a holiday, for our Muslim friends. It's Eid this weekend and on Monday. So I messaged them online privately, say, hey, make sure you finish this and do your next task because we are going to kick anyone who's under 1,200 points. And I'm going to, even if I know them, even if they followed me everywhere. But I'll let them back in afterwards, and they're going to know next time that they have to follow the rules and do that. And you can do that, knock out 1,200 in a day or a few hours, really. It depends, on that aspect of it. I never broke 2,000 points in guildfest before. Like, I hated it, right? Some guilds have, the banks, bots, and they can clear the guildfest quest. So when I was in guild like that, I would always try to beat that and get like the lowest, easiest guildfest quest, right? They say, oh, don't, because then those type of guilds, they don't give you a minimum score. They just say, oh, do your total request. So I would try to beat the bot and get like the easy, like 40 point ones. And just because I hated it, I still hate it. But I did over 7,513 points across 4 accounts, right? 2 of them went over 1,000. One of them was like 16,57, and another one was like 12 something. I was pretty fatigued at that point. And you do that for the greater good of the guild, right? And either if the culture is like, hey, the guild just wants that cool banner that you get, that's that's part of it. That's what you signed up for. So you got to follow those rules instead of making that kind of wave. And if you do want to affect change, you build trust first, and then you start to influence, and then you can share your input and value. And that also then comes from how you bring value into the guild too. It's like if you're an R4 and you want to bring the other R4s in the guild to do something, that's how you do it, right? Like, you be a team player, you don't talk and gossip behind anybody's back, and you stay consistent to your values and the culture of the guild. Now, there are times and stages where the guild is going to grow at different stages, and sometimes then the playing style of the friends that you had made, that doesn't fit anymore. So then that becomes, quite an interesting issue, and sometimes an issue of turmoil for a guild. But the easy solution for that is then to have a sub guild made, and that's what we did. So hey, if you have T4, you can come here. If you don't have T4, you have to go here, right? At that point, when you have enough. Now, of course, you can make exceptions for people you really know and have been with you since the beginning, but the longer you do that, it's not going to be beneficial, right? So like we're at the point right now that there's nobody that doesn't, not one person in our guild after this guild fest will still be in there if they do not have T4. And they'll go to our sub guild. And then as soon as they get it back, we'll welcome them with open arms. They're like, yeah, you did it. Great job. But until then, just know that we won't attack you because you're in our family guild. You're safe. But otherwise, it is what it is. So that's the main thing, right? So don't spam. You can do the direct recruitment aspect of it by looking at other kingdoms and the guilds and inviting people over. But it's mixed results. Like I get those emails all the time, and I'm polite, but it just doesn't interest me, right? I want to go to a place where I can learn and I can grow as well. And when people are recruiting you, it's always like, what value can they get from you, right? Like you're the star player, or you're going to be a really valuable addition. So even in that time, if you're recruiting people, share how you can help them, rather than, oh, we need a lead, we don't have a strong enough lead, or, oh, hey, we need more fillers. Like, then you feel like you're just being used. Like, no one wants to just be used as just a filler or as a lead, and that sort of thing. Like, I don't have a relationship with you, I don't know you, right? So build a relationship first. Like, oh, hey, just happen to look at your account, I love it, and ask a question, engage, get to know them a little bit, and then hey, if you ever want to come join us, love to have you. And you'll get a sense before that too, like, hey, do you like it there? Are you happy? Like, in that aspect of it. So don't just go kind of blind into, asking for a marriage proposal without even going on a first date, as a kind of a metaphor there. So I hope that helped you as well. So just a quick recap. 1, be known for something, right? Have that good brand image, have a set of values. Like when I was a member of KXA, Kill 'Em All, we didn't care. We'll kill everybody, anybody, right? And even we started a tile hitting war in the kingdom just for the fun of it. I was kind of responsible for that behind the scenes in 828. Most people don't know that. So Carbs, if you're watching, sorry. I kind of pushed Brandy and everybody else into that just because I was bored. But it was, that kind of thing that you can have fun and you can do, and just make a good, fun environment, and gaming environment, right? And this is an escape for all of us. So have a clear set of rules, get known, brand yourself, and have people come to you, man. Be the sun, right? Like have everyone orbit around you versus you go chasing everybody. And that's the key thing that I think a lot of people miss, not only in the game, but in life, right? So if you have a cat and you want to, play with it, if you try to chase it, it runs away, right? And this is the kind of advice I give for some of the members who are a little shy around girls, right? Because you get all types of people in here. I tell them, like, think about it like a cat, right? Like if you go and try to chase the cat, it runs away. But if you just sit there calmly and do something fun and engaging, it gets curious and it comes to you. So be that type of person or player. And maybe this is just my philosophy, I don't know. Maybe spamming people works in some fashion, I don't know. But every single person that's ever done that, like spamming on Diplo or spamming in a kingdom chat, or trying to, they just look like complete utter chos and losers to me. And I would never join them, and I would actually migrate in just to zero their entire guild. Like, it's just lame. Don't do it. So you have to present yourself as having value. And the value could be fun. It doesn't have to be might, it doesn't have to be kills. It can be like, hey, dude, we love monster hunting. I love monster hunting when I first was playing this game. Like, I didn't buy any packs until like 3 months into I was playing the game. And when I did, I just mythic upped on monster hunting gear. And I would just kill like all monsters. And I don't know why. I just liked it. I enjoyed it. It was fun for me at that point. So it's okay. Like, you can find people who want to play the way that you want to play. right? If everyone just wants to be farmers, I mean, that's cool too, right? I can make 250 million resources a day, you know, hypering in food. So just really set those expectations, and then try to attract those people, right? Don't try to force people into your mold, right? So, and that's another thing people do. It's like they say, oh yeah, come to our guild, you just have to have T4 and this, but now you got to fill. Why aren't you filling? Like, fill the rallies, and they get pissed off, right? Or they fill in the wrong time, get people from the wrong time zone. So when the leads are on, the fillers are not on. These are all kind of dynamics you kind of need to think about, and then understand, like, hey, what type of people do you want in your guild, right? Is it going to be kid friendly? Are you going to allow swear words and curse words? Is it going to be 18 years and older, right? And all those different dynamics, because this is a big age grade. Like, IGG lets people like 9 and up play. So it's very possible that you have kids in your guild. You may not even know it. You know, my 8-year-old was 7 when he introduced me to the game. And he asked me to start playing it with him. So we had 2 little tiny castles in 828. And I remember it was the first day, and this crazy guy Wolf was like going off on like the kingdom chat and having a meltdown or something. And that was my first experience of the game. And people in 828 will probably remember that day because it was kind of interesting. So think about that, and then communicate that on the Diplo. And then again, as I mentioned in the other video, if you're trying to apply, read it and make sure you understand before just asking to be accepted. Anyone ever does knock knock open, man, that's the lamest thing in the world. Don't do it. Don't be lame. So have fun, enjoy the game. I hope your guild gets big and strong, and then maybe I'll see you around sometime. Take care. This is 10x Dragon. Subscribe, and I'll be posting more videos. This is more a talking video, but I'm definitely planning on showing you guys some action soon. Take care.